border on the course I did in my first, second degree in planning. A lot of the things we do there border on planning. But as someone who is given the opportunity to work, and I do understand that that ministry is the ministry, one of the ministry, if not the ministry, you have a lot of scientists and technical people. I'll tell you a joke. When I had engagement with heads of various institutions and we're doing self-introductions at various agencies under the ministry, anybody who introduced himself or herself would say, I'm Professor this, I'm Professor this.
Everybody was a professor.
So it got to a time, I think the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, he's a doctor. And then I wanted to address myself, Professor. I said, no, I'm not a professor, I'm a doctor. And I said, I thought everybody here is a professor. I mean, heads of various agencies are professors.
So what are
even
they?
directors?
Is CSIR?
Yes, is there a guy, Ghana Atomic Energy, is nuclear regulatory.
Is it all the CSIRs?
Yes, all the CSIR. CSIR is the mother agency, and all crop research institute, you know,
food research, animal research,
all and
industrial research.
Yes, and all of them falls under CSIR. You have, we even have waste management fund, which is established to look at electronic waste management.
So how many agencies are under you? Do you know?
About 6 agencies.
Full of professors?
Yes, full of professors. Full of professors and PhD holders.
EPA is also under you?
EPA, a fantastic professor, Professor Kuluchi.
Wow.
She is the EPA boss. They all fall under the Ministry of Environment. So I understand the ministry I am appointed to work. I do appreciate that. And I told them, I said, look, I would give everybody the free rule to play. Everybody, I wouldn't serve as an inselbeck on the way of anybody executing his or her responsibility, as long as what they do is in sync with the vision of His Excellency the President and the policy direction of the President. I wouldn't have any problem at all with anybody. I do know that I am a political leader of the ministry, but the technicalities of the ministry is managed by the technical people, and I understand that. So I know the ministry that I have been appointed to work. So, and I have a fantastic working relationship with these professors and this PhD.
Have they told you about financing and funding? Because the problem in Ghana is that we don't fund technology enough. So they have the idea, they don't have the money for the research. A lot of them have to depend on donors. I'm sure in your first meeting, they've told you that we need more money to be unlocked for us to do the kind of research we want. If
you observed, I have been having some engagement with the various agencies, and I have visited all the agencies. I have visited the agencies, I've interacted with the directors, the heads of the agencies, and even the staff of the agencies. I wanted to be brought to speed to appreciate the challenges that are confronting them and the opportunities that are available that this state can take advantage of. And I can tell you, when I visited these agencies, I think that there are a lot of things we depend on other countries that we can't do them in this country. If you take Gai, for example, there are a lot of things, health institutions, hospitals are dependent on so-called experts, you know, outside this country that Gai and its institutions have the capacity to provide. If you go to CSIR, the Crop Research Institute, that you would realize one thing, that there are a lot of things that they do that if we give them the needed resources, they'll be able to turn around the economy of this country. And that is some of the things that I think that I'll be making a case to His Excellency the President. Having visited these people, I asked all of them to give me a paper, so that I'll be able to make a stronger case. And it is gratifying to state that some of them have started giving me papers as to not just the challenges that they are confronted with, but the prospects, the opportunities that this state can take advantage of. And we are complying.
Last point there, before we do Galamsey, generally climate and environment are sensitive topics, but financing has become a problem because the US administration's views on a lot of the science is different from their predecessors. So they worry among that community that financing for the next 4 years is going to be tough globally, because once US pulls out of something, a lot of the money doesn't come. How does that complicate your mandate?
I think it's a reminder to us as a state, we ought to start looking at innovative ways by which we can reduce the dependency on other states. It's a diplomatic matter, and we have a lot of relationship, you know, diplomatic relationship, you know, commercial relationship with the United States of America. So the decision to withdraw some of these finances for me, is something that we shouldn't be that worried about. We may continue with the negotiation, to continue with some of the bilateral, agreements we have with the United States of America. And it is looking positive. You have a president whose demeanor alone is respected globally. And I know that the president has taken the necessary steps to see how best we can find innovative ways of continuing with some of this assistance. But it is also important to say that, yes, the state, President Mahama is committed. I have had some conversations with him, and he's committed to increasing the budgetary allocation for the purposes of research in this country. And he's committed to supporting some of this. We are engaging some consultants to see how we can look at some international funding sources for the execution of some of our projects. And I can tell you that it's looking very positive.
Okay.
I shall be having a meeting on Friday with some people from the World Bank and the United Nations in the area of how we can explore other innovative ways of getting funding that will be supported by budgetary allocation for some of these institutions.
We'll take a break. When we come back, the environment is under the cosh. Galamsey continues. Indeed, his colleague, Lance Minister, was in Parliament today, giving a very grim outlook for the fight against Galamsey. When we come back, we'll talk about how he intends to lead that fight against illegal mining. Stay with us.